Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of May 1st through May 7th, 2023, and I'm working with the May kit from Freckled Fawn. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so I have cropped out my photos, and it might be hard to see on the film, but I have this page protector is 9 3x4 pockets, and this side has 2 4x6. So I've printed 2 4x6 photos for this week. And then over here, I have some photos. See, I went on a hike this week, and the flowers were blooming. It's early May. I've got some food photos. Just trying to kind of figure out how I want things to be arranged on this page. So I'm working with the Freckled Fawn kit for May, and I've already created one page from this kit. I don't typically show you guys that in this video, but I realized I probably should, because whenever I get a kit from Freckled Fawn, I create both one traditional layout and one Project Life layout. I tend to have a ton of supplies left over, but I want to kind of push myself to make those 2 pages, and I am on their creative team. So I am making them in part for those assignments. This one is going to probably live in my Project Life album, possibly on this page here in between these. Actually, it is 9x12, so I probably will put this in my personal album or just my other stories album. But I do really love that I just kind of told the story of how there's these flowers, and you can see this is the same photo because I took photos from this time frame to create this page. So back to my Project Life spread. I have a lot of nature photos, I have food photos, and I have one photo of my daughter. In this kit, there's some 3x4 cards, and I've already used a couple of them on that page. And there's 12x12 papers, which are not right here. Okay, so here's the 12x12 papers from the kit. Now there were 2 here, 2 pages of this pattern, which I love, with this pattern on the back. There's 2 of every paper and 2 of every card, and they're double-sided, so you can either use each side once or you can use your favorite twice. So I'm gonna go through the 3x4 cards first and try to decide. So I think I want to use this one right here for my title, and I knew there was going to be one that was like that, so I was kind of digging for that first. And then my chipboard, because there's always this one this year, and that's what I've been doing for my title card. So I know I have that set, and then I'm going to just go ahead and go through the cards that I have left. So there was another card that had a sun with rain on the back, and then here's kind of a similar card that's got wind and partially sunny. So I think I might want to use that to tell the story of a hike that I went on, but I'm not sure yet. Now this card, the back was that one, but I do want to use this with the list because I do always like to include a list during my week. I don't think I need to use the cloudy or the windy one. This one is so cute. And you guys, I'm going to show you this now because I know I'm not going to do it in this spread. But there is this pattern paper in the kit that this is kind of modeled after, and this is a 12x12 pattern paper. It is so pretty, you guys. And this is kind of like a great jumping off point to create a layout that is super simple and kind of let the paper shine. So I'm disappointed I'm not going to get to use that in this spread or in one of my 2 projects, but I will definitely use it in another project soon. I will probably do it for maybe some photos of my daughter this summer. So there's this one. I'm thinking, so this is senior decision day. So my daughter's a high school senior, and May 1st was decision day. So where you had to commit to a college, and all the kids wear their gear to school that day to show off the college of their choice. So she is going to UAlbany, and so there's her in her hoodie for decision day. And I think I will probably put something like a title on there. So I'm going to have that right there. The back is another cloudy one. And then there's this rainy one. And there's this. So I'm also gonna pull over my planner because I do have in my weekly plans, I gotta find the right week. Here we are looking at the week of May 1st through 7th. This is where I keep a lot of notes about what's going on or what happened for the week to know what to tell, what stories I wanna tell in here. Now I did make some notes on here, but this is a little bit more in depth. So it was a very rainy week and I got caught in the rain on the rail trail this week. So I do wanna kind of tell that story. And I think that this is a good card for it. And then let's see here. There's also this card, which is super pretty, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to use it for. And then these ones I'm not going to use. I'm trying to decide if I want to use this card. It's just so pretty. I'm going to come up with something for it. And then for the remaining spots, I'm going to go through my pattern paper. So this one I'm not going to use because that back is so pretty, but not to cut up in the small size. And this one, so this kit is very weather themed. And this one reminds me of a snowflake, which I'm not going to use in May, but I really love that because it snows so much here that that'll be a great photo for telling winter stories. Now there's this one that has like this weather pattern, which would be a super cute filler card. And then there's this one with this grid. I definitely want to use this one for some journaling. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put on it yet, but I love the way it looks. It's just super pretty. It's a gorgeous color. So I'm going to go ahead and crop this down to create a 3x4 card. So I'm just cropping it down here. And I didn't really go with the grid lines any specific way, but there's that card. And then I have one more pocket to fill. Now I could use this one. That's a possibility. I'm gonna look through and see what else I have here. So the other pattern paper is this one, which matches that, which is a little bit busy for my spread. I feel like my spread's getting a little busy here. And then there's this stripes. Now this stripes is great for a journaling card. I also really love that one. I'm having trouble narrowing it down, you guys. But I'm gonna go with this stripes, at least as a starting point. Let's see here. And put this, because that'll be great for some journaling. Now I don't know that I'm gonna have enough journaling for all of these cards. So I'm starting to think that maybe I want to switch this up a bit. So I'm just kind of gonna go through my story. So here I'm gonna tell the story of Decision Day. Here I'm gonna tell like my random little stories. I always tell that. I'm gonna tell my story about walking on the rail trail and getting caught in the rain and how it rained so much this week, which was kind of needed because we didn't get a ton of rain in April. And then let's see, what else do I need to tell this week? I can tell the story of Friday was my past day and I just did a bunch of errands and that type of thing. So I can definitely tell that story. And then Saturday was also an errand day. And then Sunday was a hike. So we do actually have quite a few stories to tell. I think this one would be good for my hike. And then I might even use this for the title for my hike. And so that's kind of like these ones right here. This is the rail trail. And then I can do some other ones on these two cards. So I think that I have a basic idea here. I'm trying to decide here. Let's see. This like adventures seems good for this hike. I like that a lot. And then springtime, I think is great for this one. So this is a tree at my office. So I do a lot of walks around my office. And I just love that I see all these blooms there. And then let's see, what else do I have? So also in this kit, there's some washi tape, which is super cute. So I'm gonna put that one here to remember to use it. There are these little suns that are wood, and I always mean to use the wood veneer pieces, but I feel like they're just this spread's already so busy, I don't need them. Maybe I'll do another project with them. I've got my little dots here, which I think I will use for some bullet points. And then let's see, we've got some labels, which I'm for sure gonna use some of those. That's some alphas. I think I might use these for my titles on those. And then there was a die cut pack here. And here's just a few of the pieces with all of these florals. And I kind of like the idea of using these for like a title here. So maybe like that to be my title on that one. I really love that color with it. I also really love this one though, right here. This one's so pretty. But I love the blue with that. Don't know of a good place to put this on my spread. There's too many things, too many beautiful products. I could create a whole month's worth of spreads with this kit, with any of these Freckled Fawn kits. There's just so many pieces in the kit. And part of that is because I do get the 12 by 12 kit. So if you're thinking this is way too much for you, one of the amazing things about Freckled Fawn is that you can customize your kit and only get the pieces you use. So if you don't use 3 by 4 cards, then you can skip that piece. Or if you don't want 12 by 12 papers, if you'd prefer to have 6 by 8 papers or no papers, you can select that option when subscribing or just purchasing a one-off kit, which is something that is so great about this, about their kits. I'm just thinking about a few other of these embellishments here. I do want to point out that I am on the creative team, like I mentioned, and I have an affiliate link down below. And so if you are interested in picking up some of their products, I would really appreciate if you use my affiliate link because I do get a small commission. It does not impact your price at all, but it is something that helps support my channel for sure. Okay, so with that said, I think I have my plan here. I love all these circles and these 2 cards, so I think I want to keep those together. I think I have a good plan here as far as what I want to include, and I have the rest of these embellishments here to pull from, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my spread. This one here, I think my one thought is that this is looking a little bit busy, just because it's so dark next to these photos. So if you feel like you have a spot like this where it's too much dark, so some of your options to kind of fix that are to put a white card next to it with a lot of white space. Or for example, with these ones right here, if I really wanted to include all of these, I could crop this photo down and put a white border that would help kind of break up the colors. Or what I think I'm gonna do is put a white spot on here to hold my journaling. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and I will do a voiceover so you can see how my process comes together. Okay, so now I'm going ahead to dive in and get my page put together. So the first thing I'm going to do is use those alpha stickers to put the title College Decision Day on this card, which goes along with that photo of my daughter in her hoodie from her school of choice. I think it was a great coincidence that these alphas are purple because that is the color of her school. And if you've watched any of my recent videos, you would know that I have such a gripe with the fact that a lot of scrapbook companies don't create that much purple. So thank you, Freckled Fawn, for having a purple kit. I just love the color purple, so I'm very happy that they did that. And I ended up loving how this title looked on here, so I do repeat this again on a few of the other cards, which creates a unifying theme across the spread. I end up doing it, I think, 4 times across the spread. And so I used my rolling date stamp there just to add the date to College Decision Day, which was May 1st. And then again, to put my dates on the title card here with that May chipboard piece, which is a similar style that I have done on every spread this year that use the Freckled Fawn kit, which is once per month, so that I have that repetition throughout my album. And I tend to do it on the first week of the month so that I kind of start out the month with that title of the name of the month. I'm just kind of hopping around my spread a little bit, working on my journaling. So here, as I said in my intro, I'm journaling a couple of stories on this card. And that's one way I like to journal my stories in Project Life. When I first started doing Project Life, I was very kind of chronological in my stories. In my spread, I'd say, you know, here's what happened on Monday. Here's what happened on Tuesday. Here's what happened on Wednesday. But when I decided, once I've been in this album or in this style a lot, I realized sometimes it works to lump together themed stories. So on this card, I told 2 stories about rain. One was the fact that it rained a lot this week, which was kind of good, even though I don't really like rain, because we had a super dry April. The second story was about how I went for a walk on the rail trail and got caught in the rain. So I liked lumping these stories together because they are the same theme, even though they didn't really happen at the same time. They were just both this week. You saw I added on the title there, rail trail, and I didn't really measure well and it went off the side. So I ended up having to scoot it over a little bit. And so that worked out though, and it does kind of fit. So now I moved on to this card here, and I'm putting out the title Morrow Lake. So I went for my first hike of the season this week, and that is where the hike was. So I just put that title and I hand wrote in there, first hike of the season, and rolling date stamped the date of my hike. And I liked that kind of repetition from the college decision day card with the title in the middle there and the stamping. Here I used these letters again to write out the word Sunday and journaled about the day on Sunday. So I decided to break this into 2 paragraphs. The first was about my daughter and all of the things that she did on Sunday. And the second paragraph was about me and all the things that I did on Sunday. So generally my Project Life album, I treat it like my Project Life album. So it's about my story, not my family's story. But I do include things about my daughter in here. Usually I include things that overlap with my own story, but I will include some things, especially bigger things, just to kind of have, in the background, because I think it does kind of shed light on my own story. Next year or later this year, when she moves out of the house, I am sure I will tell less of her stories because she won't be in my daily life quite as frequently, but I'm still trying to figure out how that will look. And I'm sure I will figure that out in the coming months and share with you as I do. Now I'm working on this card here. So I created this journal card by adding one of the die cut flowers on the top of this pattern paper that I cropped down. And I journaled about Friday and everything that I did on Friday and then Saturday morning. Just because it was just kind of a busy Friday. I had the day off of work, so I had a bunch of things that I did, and I journaled about that. I kind of regret, after I did that journaling, I realized that I had a photo I wanted to include this week. That was me doing the weed and feed on my lawn. It was very much this is, life right now, kind of just an ordinary life photo that would go in Project Life. And I totally missed it in editing my photos and it didn't end up in here. I considered going back and printing it and taking out one of the other photos, but I do really like all of the photos that ended up in the spread. So I decided to just leave it as is. It does kind of bother me a little, but I guess I'll just live with it. On this card here, I added some of the dots to make some bullet points and just told a few of the smaller stories this week. My daughter had a lot going on, so I told some more stories about that and the different things that she had going on and some of the little stories about my own life. And I'm just looking at that sticky note there to get an idea of what stories I want to tell and make sure that everything is included on the spread. I took one last look at that chipboard sheet to decide if any of the chipboard pieces I wanted to include them on that photo from my hike of the lake, but I decided against it. I like the way that photo looks so much by itself. The same with the rail trail photo, which is the other 4x6 photo. So I decided not to add anything on them and just leave them kind of plain. I did add that chipboard piece. This is our adventures on that smaller photo from my hike, and I like how that turned out. In the intro, I had talked about adding some more white space to this spread, and I decided against it ultimately. I decided I didn't want to add any additional journaling on this blue card, and instead added another one of the die-cut flowers on it because those were just so beautiful from the kit, and I didn't have any additional stories I wanted to tell. I also liked that the 2 photos beneath it have all these circles on them, and that flower was kind of a circle, just connecting that theme throughout the spread. Generally, I would add more white, but I do like how it turned out, and I decided that it was fine just having that white border around that flower. So here's a look at the final spread. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!